Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. It is Monday, which means I'm going to bring you another movie review. To start off with this new sort of reboot of the channel, I decided to do a best and worst of last year's movies to kind of get that out of the way, and then I can start the new year fresh in January. Because there's so many good movies that come out in January. Well, anyway, got my list. I worked on it today. So I got 5 top movies, 5 bottom movies, and about 6 kind of honorable mentions, bad and good, and I'll just kind of mention them. Now, I didn't see a lot of movies this year at all. A couple reasons. One, there were no good movies this year, and I don't like wasting money when I know a movie's gonna be bad. I got rid of Movie Pass because they started doing stupid stuff and I couldn't go to the movies I wanted to watch. So that's really hindered my ability to watch a bunch of movies because now I have to pay for them. So I just stopped watching as many movies this year and got married, and so I've been working and doing that stuff. So it's difficult to watch a lot of movies. But this is what I saw, and there are a ton that I have not seen, such as about most of the ones that were up for the Golden Globes. So, take this for what it is. This isn't my Oscar prediction list at all. This is just out of the movies I saw, which ones I thought were the best and worst and worth mentioning. All right, let's start with the honorable mentions for bad movies. Now, these are ones that I didn't want to put on my worst of the year list because they're not that bad, but they're worth mentioning because they have problems. The first one is Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, the reason this movie sucks is because there was no point to making this movie. We don't need to know what happened to Han Solo or why he's the way he is. Just leave him out of it. And they just decided to just throw in every little bit we knew about Han Solo from the originals. They were like, okay, we gotta show why he's named Solo, how he met Chewbacca, where did he get those stupid dice that we don't care about, how did he get the Millennium Falcon, like all this stuff they answer in like a little period of his life. It's like, oh, okay, so nothing is left to discover about him. So just not a good movie by itself, and definitely not a good Star Wars movie. All right, number 2 on this list is a movie called Outlaw King that came out on Netflix. I watched about 15 minutes of this movie and turned it off. Now, it might have gotten better, but the reason I have it on this list is because the opening shot is like a 8 or 9 minute single take oneer. They're called oneers. And that oneer was the most useless oneer I've ever seen in a movie. It was like they wanted to do this because it was really hard to do and cool, but it doesn't progress the story or introduce me to the characters in a good way or anything like that. It was just like they wanted to do it, so they did it, and it didn't fit with the kind of movie. We're used to these movies being like Kingdom of Heaven, Gladiator, Braveheart. Like, these epics have a way of shooting them, and this was not it, and it took me completely out of it. So maybe it got better, but I just had to mention it because I think it sucked. All right, now here are my 5 worst movies that I saw this year. Now, some bad movies are just bad, but they're supposed to be bad, like Super Troopers 2. Like, I didn't put that on my list because it's supposed to be a bad movie, so I didn't care. But these are movies that were actually like marketed as, hey, come watch this movie, that were just bad. Number 5 is The Meg. Now, The Meg was a shark movie with Jason Statham, had really good potential and some cool things about it, but it was just so poorly written and some huge flaws in the movie, and it was classic shark movie, but without all the cool stuff that most shark movies have. And it was like, man, I just want to go watch Jaws again. So that movie's number 5. All right, number 4 is a movie that it was so bad I didn't remember what it was about, so I had to go look it up what it was about. The First Purge. Now, this is the 3rd movie in the Purge franchise, and it's about how the Purge got started. And boy, this was just a bad movie. I was like, I don't care about all the politics that you put behind this movie. Like, that's not what the first Purge was about. It was just about this cool thing happening. And now they've gotten all these political things, and it was just like, it made the movie worse. It's one thing when that elevates the movie. This did not. And I think the first Purge just needs to go away and never be discussed again. All right, this is one that I thought was going to be bad because I know Hollywood, but I was really hoping that they would pull it off, and that was Ocean's 8. Now, this movie, in terms of how bad it was, wasn't as bad as The Meg or The Purge, but it was supposed to be a lot better than those guys. So that's why I put it here. This is a movie, the all-female cast of Ocean's 11 is pretty much what they did. They're like, okay, we want Ocean's 11 to good, now let's make an all-female cast and do Ocean's 8. There's a problem with that. 1, they're not doing anything original. And 2, they're just like betting on the fact that you're going to watch it because it's an all-female cast. It's like, no, write a good story and then I'll go watch the movie. And so it was just so come on, like, give me a good movie, and it wasn't. Super forgettable. The heist was nothing special. The Ocean's movies always had heists that you're like, oh, at the end you kind of were like, wow, I didn't see that coming. This one was so predictable. It was just like, acting was fine, but they're all A-list actors. But it really just didn't hit any of the marks that the original Ocean movies hit. Okay, number 2 on my list is the movie that probably made me the most upset this year, and that is Jurassic World 2. I think it's called Fallen Kingdom or something like that. This is a terrible, terrible movie. To start off, the first Jurassic World movie had Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's character kind of opposing each other. He was very pro-dinosaurs and save the dinosaurs, but understand that they're predators, and she was just like, money, money, money. This movie takes place not that long after, like really short after, and suddenly she's becoming a dinosaur activist completely, like full on. You're like, okay, that doesn't make sense. They go and like save these dinosaurs. They try and have all this political stuff involved. I'm like, it's a dinosaur. It's gonna kill people. And then halfway through the movie, just some really stupid stuff happens. They start selling dinosaurs for like $20 million. $20 million for a dinosaur. Like, you can buy a jet for $100 million, but you can buy a dinosaur for 20. So it was just like, maybe these should be a little more expensive than this. Like, it was just stupid writing. And the end of the movie, if you've seen it, is just the worst. It's like, really? That doesn't... just made me mad. And I don't want to spoil anything, but that movie is just dumb. Don't watch it. If you haven't seen it, skip it and watch the next one. Hopefully it'll be a little better. Maybe. All right, let's get to number 1 worst movie of the year. All right. I love fantasy movies. I was a big fan of the movie King Arthur that came out with Charlie Hunnam. It's not a very good movie, but I loved it because of the magic in it and just that time period. It's cool. I was kind of excited for Robin Hood when it came out, and then the reviews came out, and it was like 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be bad. So I went ahead and watched it, and it was worse. It was worse than 13%. That movie should be a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. Without a doubt, the worst movie I've seen this year. The first third is all right. You're like, okay, whatever. Then it just becomes just ridiculous and stupid stuff happening, like him walking around without his mask on and like nobody recognizing him and things like that. And you're like, but you just saw him without a mask, and then you see him again and you don't recognize it's the same person. Like, dumb stuff. And then the ending was just horrible. Just, duh. This movie made me mad because it's like, you get $150 million. You better be able to put something out better than this garbage. Like, get a writer already. It's one of the main themes with all these bad movies is bad writing. Actually, that's the theme in all of them. Figures. So, Robin Hood, don't watch it. It was a terrible movie. Let's move on to some good movies now, please. All right, so I got a bunch of honorable mentions. I got 4 of them. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. The first one is the movie First Man that was directed by Damien Chazelle, the guy that did Whiplash and La La Land. Now, the problem with this movie is that Damien Chazelle is scared. He is a director that did Whiplash, huge success, very gutsy movie. Then he makes La La Land, which wasn't as good of a movie, and it was super safe. It was kind of like, oh, Hollywood will like this, so I'm in now. And then he comes out with this one, which is about the moon landing. How can you not enjoy this movie? But it was just boring. Didn't do anything. Nothing happened. I was just sitting here going, man, I'd rather watch Apollo 13. Like, Apollo 13 is so much better than this movie. So, First Man was, quality-wise of the movie, it was shot really good. I had some problems with the focus in the movie, but it was just not there. And it was mainly because he's a safe director right now. He's scared to make a mistake, and he needs to go out there and go do what he did with Whiplash again and get back into the swing of making crazy movies. All right, and speaking of crazy, the next one is Crazy Rich Asians. Now, Crazy Rich Asians is a comedy, probably one of the best comedies of the year. It was just about these rich people in Asia that are they're doing crazy things with their money. One of the rich guys is in love with this really poor girl from New York, and just the aspects of her adapting to being a probably multi-billionaire lifestyle. And so it's just really funny, really well done. I highly recommend watching it if you like comedies. That kind of movie needs to be made more often in comedies. Like something that's clean enough that your family can watch it, but still written well enough that it's funny. Yeah, it was really good. Watch Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah, watch Crazy Rich Asians. I honestly can't say that word. Anyway, moving on. My number 3 honorable mention is one that a lot of people had in their top movie of the year or top 5. Jeremy Johns had it at number 1. One of my friends that reviews movies had it at his number 1. I just had a problem with it. That's Mission Impossible Fallout. Now, this is the third movie in the new installment of the Mission Impossible franchise. I'm a big fan of Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. I think those are both excellent movies, and this one I think just fell short. Now, I'll explain why. I think in itself, if you watch the movie by itself, it's a great movie. But we have gone knowing, okay, Ghost Protocol set up the aspects of what's possible in this world, right? What is too much and what is not enough. And we kind of get this like, okay, this is what can happen. And then Rogue Nation stayed inside those limits. It didn't like go, oh, okay, I'm bringing this stuff. Like Fast and Furious is a good example of a series that just keeps getting more extreme. It gets dumber and dumber. Mission Impossible doesn't get more extreme. It just creates different extremeness inside of its boundaries. Fallout did not do that. It completely took all that away and just was like, we're going to be so extreme. It was like the last Bourne movie where so much stuff happened. You're like, this is dumb. Like, we don't need this. And the bad guy in the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but I knew he was the bad guy from the second I saw him. And I never saw the trailer. Apparently they spoiled that. And it was just lots of dumb stuff, poor writing. Like I said, if you watch it by itself, it's fine. It's a great action movie. But compared to Rogue Nation, which I think is the strongest movie in all the franchise, it just couldn't live up to it. And the main reason is it didn't have Rebecca Ferguson's character as a good character in this new one. She was amazing in Rogue Nation. She was not good in Fallout. She was kind of like, what is going on? Like, poorly written. And that was just such a bummer because she was such a great character in Rogue Nation, and they just misused her in this next one. And I think it just kind of ruined the movie for me. All right, last honorable mention. It'll be quick. Bad Times at the El Royale. This movie was really good for 2/3. I was sitting there going, this is going to be my favorite movie of the year. Super loving it. And then the last third happened, and it was just like, oh, you know what was wrong? You didn't have Tarantino directing this movie. That was wrong with it. It felt like a Tarantino movie the whole time. Very awesome the way it was set up and everything, and then it just couldn't pay off in the end. And only Tarantino knows how to pay off Tarantino stuff because he's been doing it for so long and he's Tarantino. So I just think that was their problem, is they tried to go too much his style without him being involved. And so that was a bummer because it just fell flat at the end. And it's worth an honorable mention. It's a fun watch, but it's just not a great movie.